And now it is the Rock from 106.1 Kiss FM here with my tag team partner in podcasting.
What's up? Eric Cornish with WKDQ. Thank you for joining us today, and I'm glad you're back.
Happy to be back. We're both wearing wrestling shirts.
Yes, and we are ready for another day.
Yes.
The Enhancement talent. Sometime in the middle of this video today, you got to watch the whole video. We're going to give you your final keyword that'll give you a chance to win 6 months of the WWE Network. So be watching for that. That's coming up. Not a lot going on. I mean, we covered a lot of the stuff, but, you know.
Yeah, you covered SummerSlam.
SummerSlam and NXT and that kind of stuff we kind of covered. So so now as we get back into Night of Champions, of course, we got Sting on the way. We've got a lot of things happening, which we didn't talk about the Phenomenal Raw, which... Boy, I mean, just a quick review of that.
Here's my review of it. I wish some of that stuff would have happened on SummerSlam.
I agree.
The Raw after was much better than SummerSlam.
Yeah, it was totally like a after Mania Raw. But,
yeah.
Between the Dudleys and between Sting and the new member of the Wyatt family and just a lot of good stuff. So
all in like different hours. It was a well-paced show.
We'll see if they keep it up tonight.
We'll see.
But anyway, today we kind of just had a random topic to throw at you, and it's something that we were discussing earlier today, and I'm pretty excited about this.
The way this came about was funny. You were saying that you think the show American Ninja Warrior should do a WWE week?
Yeah, I think so. We were watching it yesterday, and I was like, man, this show's a great show. And my kids love watching it. My dad watches it a lot. And I'm not a regular viewer, but after I started watching it, I was like, it's an NBC Universal show. Maybe get some of the guys, of course you don't want to show anybody up, but I'm thinking, who would be good on this? I'm thinking, Seth Rollins would probably be a good...
oh, yeah, he does all that CrossFit stuff.
I think he would do well on the show. If John Morrison was still there, I mean, he would be
a
good guy
choice.
for sure. But, I don't know, maybe a guy like Dolph Ziggler, Neville. Neville looks like he would be a guy to... But anyway...
Neville might actually be a ninja.
Yeah, he might be.
Who knows?
My wife was like, Brock Lesnar? I'm like, no, I don't think that would work. He'd probably find himself bloody just from getting on an obstacle. I don't know how that happens.
During the...
But anyway, so let's talk about some of the other TV show appearances throughout the years that wrestlers have appeared on that stick out in our memory.
Yeah, when wrestlers cross into other TV shows, I think is a fun topic. The first one that comes to my mind, I don't know why, but the first one out of my mouth this morning was Family Feud.
Me too. I absolutely loved that when the WCW was kind of partnered with them at first.
Yeah.
But WWF did some too.
Right. And wasn't it always, heels versus faces?
Sometimes it was, I think when it was WCW, I think it was them against like the Playboy Playmates. Or maybe like the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling from time to time. It was weird because I do remember Jim Ross like captaining the team, and Sting was there, and Flying Brian and Tom Zink and Brad Armstrong or somebody like that.
Yeah, I don't know if I can tell you everyone who's been on the show, but I believe the Nasties have made an appearance.
They did, and the Mountie, I think, Jimmy Hart, and then that's what kind of transitioned into the WrestleMania match at WrestleMania 8, which I was there in Indy,
right?
Where Ray Combs, who's the late host of Family Feud,
and by far the best, in my opinion.
He's one of the best. Absolutely, I think he gets overlooked. But yeah, that match where it was like the Family Feud, you had the Nasties and Repo Man and Mountie against, I think it was Duggan and Slaughter and Big Boss Man Virgil. I think was the.
I wonder why that was the first of both of our heads.
I don't know, but Family Feud was just a big show back then.
A show I've always enjoyed.
It was really good, and Ray Combs was a big wrestling fan, so it was kind of neat to have him in the middle of all of that. You can always tell when you have wrestling on a show, when somebody is a fan, it makes a big difference. Like Regis Philbin, like.
Right.
Anytime you went on that show, like Regis was all into it, But if you go on a show where people don't understand wrestling or don't like it, it falls flat really quick.
Absolutely correct.
So yeah, that was the first one to stand out. I mean, you can't talk a wrestling show without talking Thunder in Paradise.
Very true. A very important show in wrestling history because that's what got Hogan over to WCW.
And him and his big speedboat and saving the day.
I've never watched an episode of that show.
Yeah, it was. I did watch it for a bit. That was interesting. Also, kind of transitioning into that Baywatch.
I was going to say the same thing. That you can't say the same thing without mentioning Baywatch. Wasn't it like a Bash at the Beach kind of feud? A steel cage?
Well, they actually used footage from Bash at the Beach in the show.
That's what it was.
And it was like you had Hogan and Vader and Savage and I think Flair. I think Kevin Sullivan was a part of that show.
Right.
So it was, that was something different.
All right, should we tell them the code word now?
Yeah, let's give them the code word, which is
Baywatch. All one word. One of the best appearances, I think, with Wrestling Time with Baywatch. So there you go.
They won't let you out of their sight.
I'll be there.
Go ahead.
Remember the appearance, it was a WWE, I forget if it was a day or a week, but on The Weakest Link?
Yes.
And Booker T, the question had something to do with, like, this February holiday, and Booker said Thanksgiving.
Oh, gosh.
Or something like that. I don't remember exactly how it went out.
Didn't Kane, like, school everybody on that show, though?
Forget what it was.
I think Kane was still in his mask, and I think he just completely annihilated everybody.
Can you imagine him in his mask?
Yeah, he was in his mask. This was before he ever lost his mask. The same deal with Deal or No Deal. Remember, you had Sign Guy, our buddy Rick, was on that show, and his people that he had with him were all WWE superstars.
I forgot who was on there.
It was Rick, Sign Guy.
No, but who were his friends?
I don't know. I want to say like Randy Orton, and there was a couple other guys were just like wrestlers that were his panel of friends.
Yeah, okay.
So that was fun. And there's one show where. I don't think you even knew about this show. I brought it up a little while ago, and I don't know how I remembered it. It just popped into my brain, and we're going to show you. I'll leave a clip of the intro below. It was a show called Learning the Ropes, and this happened in like '88 or '89. It was a show like about a wrestler. It was a guy who was a teacher by day, played by Lyle Alzado, a legendary football player for the Raiders, and then at night he was like a kind of a jobber wrestling guy that wore a mask. And they'd show actual clips of him wrestling, but it wasn't him. It was actually Dr. Death. Steve Williams actually played the character, but he would wrestle guys like Ric Flair and like Arn Anderson and the Road Warriors and stuff like that. And it was called Learning the Ropes, and it was a Canadian show, I think, but it was a total 80s show. I mean, right down to the theme song, and you'll see if you watch the clip below.
Well, also, I can think of a few more. I do remember Vader appearing on Boy Meets World. Boy
Meets World, yeah.
And also King Kong Bundy appearing on Married with Children.
Absolutely.
Who actually, the writers of that show, huge wrestling fans. All the families on that show named after wrestlers.
Yeah.
The Bundys, the Rhodeses. There are other wrestling references that I think is so cool on that show. There's more. I had more.
There's tons of them, but
so there's just great.
Some good, some bad, a lot just cheesy. Oh, how about this? Family Matters. Do you remember Family Matters? And I think it was it the Bushwhackers?
I remember
Family Matters and wrestled Carl and Urkel.
I remember Urkel going on American Gladiators.
There was that too, but I'm pretty sure they wrestled, and I think they wrestled the Bushwhackers.
That could be. What about all the appearances on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno?
A lot of, yeah.
That led to a match at Hog Wild or Road Wild or whatever it was.
That was sad.
There was a lot happening there. What about Andy Kaufman and Jerry Lawler on Letterman?
Can't forget that.
That's got to be the all-time best.
An epic moment of all time. So, any other wrestlers involved in other TV shows that you can think of, let us know, tweet us or email us, and we would love to reminisce with you about those wonderful moments. So,
Edge on Highlander, Bret Hart on Lonesome Dove.
That's right. It just
There's so many.
Going and going. The Hornswoggle in the Leprechaun movie. Well, now we're going movies. So
yeah, that's major films.
Thanks for joining the Enhancement Talent, and we'll see you later on in the week.